I'm really sorry I didn't tell you in the other exercise, in the other video. We are on page 100 and 101. Now this is 102. Okay, part 2. Now work with the partner if possible. I think you'll do it individually because otherwise it will be difficult from the practical point of view when we do this Zoom lesson. Okay, so decide if each statement is true or false and correct it. Okay, most of them are false in my view. Okay, so stop it. I'm going to give the answers in 3, 2, 1. So number 1, I think it's correct. You have sorry, no, they're all false. You have to speak for 2 minutes. No, you speak for 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute when you compare the 2 pictures, and then for 30 seconds. We'll see that later. You have to comment on 3 pictures. False. You have 3 pictures, but you comment on 2. Okay, you have to choose which 2. Remember the beginning of the exam, or at the beginning of this part. So okay, I'm going to compare these 2 pictures, and you can touch them with your fingers. I don't know if you'll be allowed to touch them, so you can point at them. These 2 pictures. Okay. Now, ask you a question, and the other question will be written. Nothing. Both questions will be written. They are all false. Both questions will be written. Okay. If you check any of the tasks at the end of the book, you'll see that there are 2 questions written on top of the pictures, and that's what you'll see in the exam. Describe. False. Okay. False. Fake news. Sorry, I had a moment of craziness. Okay, so remember, don't describe pictures. Okay, you can speculate. Okay, it looks as if they are this and that, but don't describe. Okay, I can see 2 people doing this and a girl, and she's dressed in. No, okay, that will be describing. So you have to answer both questions, comparing. Okay, similarities and differences, and speculating. That's what you're expected to do. The partner will have to speak for a minute. Loop. Well, no at all. Speak for a minute on the same set of pictures as yours. No, it's true. I don't know if this is what they mean. You get 30 seconds to answer a question about those pictures. Okay, but you can choose any of the 3 pictures. For example, which one is the most? So you can choose any of 3. So I don't know if it refers to that, but anyway, it's 30 seconds. Okay, so candidate A speaks for 1 minute, and then candidate B gets a question, and you have around 30 seconds to answer it. And it's normally like, which one do you like most, or what do you usually do? I don't know, depending on the task. Okay, you may help your partner. No, let them fail. No, this is important. Don't interrupt. Don't. Sometimes when, I don't think it has happened with you, but with the other group, they were doing this exercise, and I saw them interacting. You can't. 1 minute speaking alone. Period. Okay. So perhaps this is what you had in number 5. I don't know. It's 30 seconds. You will get a question, 30 seconds. So perhaps here you have to speak for a minute, but it's a different set of pictures. Okay, because otherwise this is the same question. Okay, so you speak for a minute too, but you have a different set of pictures. Sometimes here we repeat the pictures. Okay, when there are 3 people in a group, I tell you to use the same pictures, but use a different combination. Okay. So anyway. They were all false. They were trying to trick you. Now, using language. I don't think this is very useful, but since it's here, we might as well do it. Okay, I got 10 out of 12. Correct. Okay, so it's not that difficult. So, I'm just going to play it. Okay, so stop it. Try to choose the correct word, and I'll play it now. Okay.
Test 2. Training. Speaking, Part 2. Exercise 2.
The first picture I'd like to discuss shows 2 people getting married. This is obviously a very important ceremony for both of them. It would have involved a lot of preparations on the part of the bride and the groom, and their families as well. They'd have had to do all sorts of things, like making decisions about venues, choosing what to wear, getting their hair done, and so on. They might well have had to organize a honeymoon too.
Okay, so you can listen
Test 2.
Sorry.
Training. Speaking, Part.
Oh, sorry. So, no problem. You can listen to it again if you didn't get it. Now, we'll do this in class, okay? Tomorrow. So talk about one of the other pages on page A6, answering both, I guess it's both questions, not both the questions, both questions. Okay, so we'll do this tomorrow. You can look at it and think about what you're going to say. Okay, what would you say if you had these questions? So the same, we'll do this tomorrow. You can both take turns to do it. Now listen to of a possible answer. Okay, I'm going to play. It's just 20 seconds, but it's not very enlightening.
Test 2.
Which of these ceremonies do you think would be most significant for the people?
I think the wedding ceremony would be the most significant one for the people involved. Of course, graduating and winning sports prizes are also important and exciting, but they don't have such a huge impact on the rest of your life as marriage does.
Indeed. Anyway, okay, so we'll do this. And now here on the next page, you have this tip. Remember, use modal verbs to express what you think. Okay, might, may, could, perhaps. Okay, I guess, I imagine. So you can speculate. Okay, so you can use some of these. And I think we'll do this tomorrow too. Okay, we'll do the whole task. It says groups of 3. We're not going to waste one person just looking there and reading. So you can read it yourselves. You decide who's A and B. You read it yourselves, and you do the task. Okay. So let's go to part 3.